where you think ideally you would like to serve. So I got selected for the Argentina-Uruguay program. And kind of the process of interviews is that you apply and so your application, they call you in for an interview and they fly you out to Chicago at the ELCA headquarters, and you do interviews with country coordinators there, because in each program they have a country coordinator that's employed by the ELCA and is there full-time as a missionary and coordinating with programs like this. As I mentioned earlier, the program in general is now up to 10 country programs. It started out in the early 2000s with only the United Kingdom's program, but since then, through a lot of generous support and through especially a lot of motivation with the age group that comes through there, they've been able to develop it as a really integral part of the ELCA's global mission program at large. And so, I guess the general thing about a term when we say missionary, or when the ELCA says that they're sending people out on mission, a model that they really envision this work as being is what they call a form of accompaniment, which is basically it aligns itself with the parable of Jesus on the road to Emmaus, where after Jesus' death, there's a story of this disciples walking on the road to Emmaus, and a stranger comes up and starts talking with them, and they get to know him. They don't know who the stranger is, but later they discovered it was Jesus himself. So kind of in that manner of what we say, walking alongside our global neighbors in mission, in that the mission work we do right now is not the kind of mission work that you typically formalize of in the past, of where people come out and you try to do conversions or forced proselytization of people in foreign countries, but it's rather an acknowledgement that we're both invited by the people in the countries that we're going to serve, and the Lutheran Church in Argentina and Uruguay has invited me to come down there, and alongside the ELCA that has invited me to serve there too. So it's really a program that is working actively to address the themes of economic disparity and globalization throughout the world, and through the lens of faith in Christ and what that means. So these are also many of the programs participants participate in, and a little bit about the Nebraska Synod itself in global mission. I only recently found this out myself, but Nebraska Synod has actually been a great supporter of the church in Argentina and Uruguay since 1990. And actually, I believe this year the Nebraska Synod is taking a trip in October to visit the church in Argentina and Uruguay. So there's been a deep connection between Nebraska and Argentina. And actually, while I was in Chicago meeting with the country coordinator who I'll be working for, she specifically mentioned to me her gratitude for the Nebraska Synod and its support. And so a little bit about the church in Argentina and Uruguay. It's called the Iglesia Evangelica Luterana Unidos, which is essentially the ELCA's component church in Argentina and Uruguay. They're really focused on addressing ecumenical relationships and wealth inequality and human rights and outreach. And a lot of their work is focused through diaconal ministries, which essentially means just ministries outside of the church itself. And so, which is where I'll be placed. I'll be placed in the Argentina and Uruguay program itself. So normally participants will work with both the church and one of its diaconal ministries there. So this year there's going to be a total of 7 volunteers, so 6 others like me going. That will be staying in Argentina and Uruguay. I'll be in Uruguay myself, living in Montevideo, its capital. And it's just another, for me it's kind of in my journey, it's meant a lot to me to know that that I have the ELCA support, and that the ELCA supports young people like me, especially 84 different young people like me, to go out and experience what God's love means in a very complex way. And so what I'll be doing, it'll be working with a nonprofit group called the Juventud para Cristo, which just translates to Youth for Christ organization. And that's just a youth organization down there, kind of very similar to like a boys' town, that they do work with a number of after-school programs and doing work with educational and prevention of sexual abuse and domestic abuse. They also do work with curriculum development with the Uruguayan Department of Education. And then there's one Lutheran church in Montevideo, Uruguay, which is the Iglesia Luterana Nuestro Salvador, which is the Lutheran Church of Our Savior. And so a little bit more about the Juventud para Cristo. Once we find out our specific site placements within the program, kind of the model is that before I know my specific role and function within the community, they like to assess my, once I get down there, what they believe are my personal strengths and what I can bring to the organization, kind of in the model of accompaniment, the theme of that. So I don't know exactly what I'll be doing yet, but it'll be most likely working with educational programs and doing a lot of spiritual development and doing things like helping kids develop their writing or the creative arts or things like that. And so just a little bit about Uruguay itself. It gained independence from Spain in 1811 and then from Brazil in 1825. And the Uruguayan motto is Libertad or Muerte, which is just means just liberty or death. And so Uruguay is just in kind of the southern, eastern side of Latin America. It's just very directly south of Brazil and east of Argentina. It's Montevideo is located at the mouth of the Rio de la Plata, which is a very important port for colonial Spain, as was Buenos Aires. And actually once, so I'll be leaving on August 16th to go to Chicago to do about a week-long orientation at the University of Chicago and the ELCA headquarters there. And from there I'll fly out on 25th of August to do more orientation in Buenos Aires in Argentina. So that'll be about 2 weeks with all 7 of us along with our country coordinator there. And from there we'll each kind of branch out. 4 of us will go into Argentina to their various home congregations there, and then 3 of us will also go to Montevideo. And basically, to get to Montevideo from Buenos Aires, it's about a 2-hour ferry ride across the Rio de la Plata, so it's a very beautiful and thriving region down there. I guess just to give you guys kind of a comparison, I thought of between Uruguay and Nebraska. Nebraska is about 77,000 square miles, and Uruguay is about 68,000 square miles, so just a little bit smaller than Nebraska, but where Nebraska has about about, I think, 1.82 or something like that million people. Uruguay has about 3.4 million people, with about 1.6 living in Montevideo itself. Interesting enough, Uruguay is also very big producer of cattle, and much of their economy relies on agriculture, so it'll be hopefully an easy transition there. They'll be eating a lot of beef, and I think Uruguay is known to actually have the most cattle per human population per capita in the world. So this is just a breakdown. So this post-Spanish colonization, Uruguay is so predominantly Catholic, and the Lutheran Church in both Argentina and Uruguay is more of a smaller presence, but as it's been described to me, they have been a more forceful presence of change within Argentina and Uruguay, because the Lutheran Church down there is really big at advocating for social and political change. So it's a smaller church there, but it's very strong and very active. And so I guess per average, to send someone like me on a trip like this, the ELCA spends about $13,000 per person, and there's 84 total people this year, so that roughly equals out to about $2 million that the ELCA is investing in people like me and in a program like this, which is really exciting, but also a little nervous for me to know that the ELCA is placing this much trust and this much faith in me, which it's a big responsibility, but because of the really great network of support that I've been able to access as part of this program, it's I think a really very cool thing that the ELCA is willing to invest in people like me to understand what it means to go out into the world and to understand the forces of God's love, whether they be in extraordinary or very ordinary ways. And so I guess I don't want my speech to come off as like a fundraising speech. More of I kind of want to come here today to invite you guys to join me in partnership with this and join me in relationship with the global mission work that the ELC is doing. And so I would like to just invite you guys to enter into that relationship. And kind of as part of my work, each month I'll be putting out like a monthly newsletter that's just reflecting on my experience and my journey. That information, I have a link to a website through the ELCA where you can get my email address and sign up for that newsletter. Mr. Lesh will have that information, and I think we'll hopefully be able to pass that through the church office. So yeah, does anybody have any questions?
How long will you be there?
I'll be there every year, so we'll leave, depart the 25th of August for Buenos Aires, and then there's not an exact return date, because it'll vary just depending on how the trajectory of your service goes, which is one of the things that I like a lot about this program, is that it's very malleable and adaptable to each person and their circumstances. So it'll be about a year though.
Official language of Uruguay would be Spanish. Do you speak Spanish at all?
A little bit, yeah. I studied Spanish in high school and in college.
Was that a prerequisite, or is that just part of the country that you chose?
Yeah, it's definitely preferred when they're doing interviews. They prefer that you have some background in Spanish, but they're also very very lenient, and that's what a lot of the orientation that we'll be going through is learning kind of the specific dialects and regional differences of Spanish that we're going through. Yeah.
So if folks want to help out, do you have flyers or other information that is available, or?
Yeah, I have a few flyers over here. So through the EOCA, I have either an online website where people can donate, and so I don't think I mentioned this earlier, but the money I'm going to help raising won't go for me directly, won't go to any personal fund of mine, but rather it goes to the Young Adults and Global Mission Program at large to help give it broader support and kind of help make it sustainable in the future. And so, and you can, people can donate either online or through check. There's a special code that you write to the ELCA that I have printed on here. So feel free to pick up one of these flyers, and I'll leave a few of these around in the church office too.
Well, I take away from you, I'm the church treasurer, and I write a check every month. Can they put it to the church, and then we have it designated for the same account?
Yeah, absolutely. If you just want to like collect a pool and then...
Yeah, because we took in about 3,000 a couple weeks ago, and I sent that to Chicago.
Okay, yeah.